Okay, I'm coming up on the right turn. Fargo Jet Center is what this says right here.
Approaching right turn, 20th Street North.
Okay, you heard all that. They're coming down to talk to me. Yes. Oh,
yeah,
how you doing?
Good.
My name is Doug Bickford.
Jody Fisher.
Are you one of the pilots that does the weather model?
Yep.
Sure. Now, can you be in a video of me? I'm doing a documentary about what you guys do. Can you just tell me what you do?
I can't be in a video until I get approved by somebody else.
Oh, you gotta get proven.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm only here for like a couple hours. I actually came from, well, not came from working to do this place, but I'm passing through.
Okay.
And it intrigues me that you guys, what you do.
Flying through thunderstorms.
So is that what you do?
Yep.
So you fly an airplane that has chemical attachment things that
Yep. We use
drop?
silver iodide.
Silver iodide.
Yeah. And the reason we use it's inert, it's environmentally safe.
Right.
And the amount we're using over the area you use, you'll never find it in the background,
Right.
you know.
Now,
but it burns, and when it burns into a crystal form.
Mm-hmm.
It looks just like an ice crystal. So when
Right.
you put it in the cloud, the water says, hey, it's one of my own, and it attaches to it and freezes.
Okay, so it makes clouds basically.
No, it makes ice.
Also, it makes ice.
Yeah, the cloud already has to be there. The water has to be there.
Right.
So the ingredients have to be there, but sometimes the ingredients are there, and in the natural process, it doesn't multiply and get going, so then nothing comes out in the rain, the snow, whatever.
Right. So is there currently projects going on in the United States right now?
Yep. We have a project in North Dakota for rainfall enhancement and hail mitigation.
Really?
Minimizing the effects of hail. We have one in Calgary.
So you can stop it, is what you're saying?
Minimize the effects.
Minimize the effects of it.
Yeah.
Make it small.
Yeah.
But so can you cause it not to rain too?
No.
Yeah,
Not my experience.
So,
The Chinese say they can. I don't know that they can.
Yeah, because the Olympics,
yeah.
right? So you know about that.
Yeah.
They said they stopped the rain.
Yeah. Well.
So we haven't perfected that in the United States.
No.
Or you guys haven't.
Well, we haven't. I don't think anybody has. In
Really?
the world. The Chinese say they do, but scientifically, when they explain it, it doesn't make sense.
Right. So when you get your orders, you just fly where they tell you to fly, right?
For the most part. I mean, when we're working, we're on a contract with somebody, a state government, a state entity, a foreign government,
Right.
or a water district, you know, that has hired us. So we have an area that we can only fly in.
Right.
So we go to that area,
Whatever
our
your
project area is.
right. And so you get contracts from the United States government, right?
Nope.
Or you don't.
Nope.
But other governments, other countries.
Yeah, like counties, like in North Dakota, there are 4 counties that get together, vote on it, levy their taxes, and then the state, through the state of North Dakota, they also get a little bit of funding. I think it's like 10%.
Really?
And then that's it. Then they pay for it themselves.
So the state government pays for it.
The counties pay for it by voting on it and levying mills. To
Really?
get taxes, yep. There.
Wow.
Now, some places, a water district, they'll take their, I don't know where their money comes from exactly, but like a watershed area.
Right.
And they'll take probably taxes as well, and they'll set it up, vote on it, yep, we're gonna do this project.
So
Some
the-
places are power companies, like hydro water companies, they'll pay for it themselves.
Right.
In Calgary, an insurance company pays for it.
So I saw the thing out there. You have the lime ones too.
Yep.
That one out there that I saw in the parking lot.
Yep, that's for snowpack in the mountains.
Really?
Set it up in the mountain where you get the upslope wind.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they'll blow the silver iodide. Or
Yep.
I saw a thing, Shasta County, California. Mount Shasta. I'm not sure, but it's in California.
Yep.
Right below Mount Shasta, you ever hear about that? There was a big thing about it that the residents were saying, hey, what are you people doing? You know what I mean? You know, I don't know if it's through you guys or
No, that we're in Shasta.
that part.
Where the city is that near? Or be the
Redding, California.
That's north, right?
Northern California.
We're not up there. We're in.
So there's other
We got
things?
contracted in Sacramento.
Oh, you did?
Down there but that's for snowpack up near Tahoe.
Right, to make it snow more, get more snow,
Yeah,
right?
so that their watersheds and their water levels will fill up.
Yeah, so silver iodide, that's what you guys use? That's the only thing you guys use?
The setting up of the storm tracks, the jet stream, the location of the storms. And so you end up with an intervention on the solar side of things would pretty directly begin to affect the weather patterns. And so climate control or attempted climate control and weather control rely on this very large spectrum of intervention. It's also true that if you can forecast climate, you can control a lot of futures markets, and you could know if you had the best information or if you had some leverage over what the climate system is going to turn out to be, you would be able to invest in advance in all your crop futures and your agricultural activities, and not just agriculture, but weather effects. I think it's something like 80% of the U.S. economy is weather sensitive, and so all kinds of businesses would like to see some weather edge, some advantageous information that they would have.
It's absolutely entirely possible to profit from the weather.
My name is Michael Agney. I'm an independent trader. Trading commodities at the CME Group, member of the Chicago Board of Trade, and have traded derivatives and futures cash for over 15 years. Weather derivatives are financial instruments that firms would use to hedge risk concerned with adverse weather conditions. The first weather derivative was originally traded by Enron back in 1997. Weather derivatives started in 1999 at the CME Group. Big utilities, reinsurers to hedge against hurricanes or tornadoes or flooding, some sort of catastrophe, hedging against a cooler summer or a warmer winter. Let's just say I was insuring a product for $5 million, no matter what it was. Let's say if I was a utility company, a farmer, whatever it was. Let's say I had $5 million worth of crop, but I can do derivatives that are worth double that amount, and I can control the effects to where I collect on the insurance that's worth $10 million as opposed to selling the crop for $5 million. Yes, I could definitely profit from that. 2010, 2011, Southern Illinois, Missouri, those, you know, we had a high peak of tornadoes and those types of adverse weather conditions definitely raised the price of commodities as well as drove the volatility, which also raises the price of commodities. You're going to make more money if a crop fails. You're creating insurance that's over the price of what your crop is worth, let's say. So if you can control the weather, you control how these products grow. And if you had an insight to how these products were actually seeded and what products you use to actually grow those items, corn, soybeans, and you can control that market, it's unlimited profit potential if you can control the weather.
If you want to send, cold into the Midwest, you buy up pipeline capacity, you buy up options on heating and cooling degree days, you buy derivatives off of rainfall. There are mechanisms that you can make hundreds of billions of dollars annually and defray a huge chunk of the cost of this just on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, playing with derivatives in the weather market.
Weather derivatives are basically, you're betting that there's going to be a weather disaster, and you're betting that it's going to occur within a particular time frame in a particular location, and then, the money that you put up basically is like a bet. It's like a wager, saying that this incident's going to happen here, and then when it does happen, there's a big payoff. And that big payoff is something that motivates people to continue to participate in this kind of thing and maybe even feed the very process that's causing the bad weather to happen. Particularly if there's a connection between the people that are seeding the clouds and the people that are making investments.
This is a new opportunity. It's a new tool for investors. Even if someone has no interest in, going on the offensive side and buying things, it definitely behooves them to be aware of what's going on out there. The extreme weather is here, and it's not going to reverse itself. The weather event has to be severe.
Ionospheric heating, in fact, these instruments, when they were first utilized, which is in the former Soviet Union back in the 70s, they started out then, they still call these ionospheric heaters because in one mode of operation, you can literally create above this instrument on the ground, you can heat an area up to 30 miles in diameter in the ionosphere. So you heat it up, and by heating it, it literally raises it. So then imagine this column moving up several hundred kilometers out, and then the lower atmosphere begins to rush in and fill that vacant space, that void. And as a result, you're altering pressure systems for quite a distance, which of course alters the weather. You're also able, if a jet stream is coming in the air, you're able to alter its course. And if you alter a jet stream, even a small amount, then the swing factor on the other end, you can move it. So you're moving storms, say, out of the Midwest onto the East Coast, or this kind of thing, by just swinging it high in terms of its flow and getting it redirected.
Okay, so now if we look at precipitation, much has been made of this issue of damage from precipitation.
Which the particulates that these trails have introduced into the sky are, let's just say the storms can develop more violently, more quickly, in places that are not necessarily as where you would expect them to be. And so we see more flooding, we see more intense droughts, we see rainfall rates of 1 to 2¼ inches an hour that are just bizarre, and sometimes even rainfall 1¼ inch a minute is just unheard of.
And so you have an area that's already been heated by the sun's rays, and then you have the aerosol drift in over that area, and it's reflecting both ways. It's reflecting the heat of the sun back out, but it's also trapping the heat that's already been created there by the sunlight. So it will actually create more heat and trap heat inside and closer to the atmosphere. It can actually exacerbate global warming problems.
And if you become more aware of what's happening, where the global commodities are, what extreme weather events, you're one step ahead of them.
The nature of the risk and our ability to respond to the risk is much greater in the case of the scenario that might involve large-scale regional agricultural disruption lasting a number of years.
So the agenda was drought. The agenda was to kill the storm, at least in that one particular spot.
You see a tremendous and significant loss of property and crop production. Many times this will cause farms to go out of business, and when farmers go out of business, they usually have to sell, and then if there's somebody waiting in the wings to buy their land and then turn that land over to the production of genetically modified crops, you can see where there would be kind of a strategic advantage there.
There's something that happened in the Midwest, and I'm sure everybody's heard about the flooding in the Midwest, and what happened is George Soros and his big corporate monolith went in and started buying up the farmland. So not only is it creating all these stresses, it appears to be a corporate land grab. In other words, when the farmers, the small farmers, go out of business, they're wiped out through these droughts and everything, then the big guys come in, buy up the land.
And if you think of Western history, there's a lot of it concerning water rights and even water wars. And so they were shooting about access to water to water your livestock. And now people are thinking, or at least the people who are involved in weather control sometimes think about the river of moisture above our heads, and geez, if we could just tap that. But that too is a water right that would involve access to people that felt that maybe they had prior rights.